Welcome to another video on this channel. Today's topic is very interesting. We are going to see what we as retail investors or individual investors can learn from the life of the late JN Tata. My name is Paresh. I'm an NISM certified and AMFI registered mutual fund advisor and distributor. This is my ARN number 334516. The purpose of this channel is to convey the concepts of mutual funds and investing in general in a very simple and easy to understand way to new investors. Before we move ahead, this disclaimer is necessary that mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. You need to read all scheme related documents carefully. The past performance of any mutual fund scheme is not necessarily indicative or guarantee of future performance of that scheme. So we all know about Tata Group, right? So these are some numbers which might surprise some of you. So this is a legacy of 150 plus years of excellence. Almost $180 billion in revenue. That is the aggregate revenue of all Tata Group companies in FY 2025. The group is present in 100 plus countries across 6 continents. Right. The group has 26 publicly listed companies with a market cap of nearly $300 billion. So this is massive in every way. Whichever way you look at it, uh, Tata Group is just a behemoth, is what they are called. And if you look at the returns, the stock market returns generated by Tata Group companies, so there is this index, right? So Nifty India Corporate Group Index for the Tata Group, and this index was formed in I think April 2025. Sorry, April 2005. So we have around say 20 plus years of data. And if you look at the performance of Tata Group companies vis-a-vis the Nifty 50 index, they have comfortably outperformed the index. So over the last say 20 plus years or so, the Tata Group index has given a return of nearly 15%, while the Nifty 50 has generated around 13.3%. So very good, over performance or outperformance. And you will be surprised to know that this entire journey, the wealth that has been generated, nearly $300 billion of market cap today, started with just 21,000 rupees in 1868. So that was when 29-year-old Jamsetji Nusserwanji Tata, who we refer to as JN Tata or Jamsetji Tata now, started a trading firm, okay, with just a capital of 21,000 rupees. He is widely regarded as the father of Indian industry for his ambitious efforts to industrialize India under British rule. And he was truly a visionary. He was truly a visionary entrepreneur. He was truly a visionary leader, and he was truly a visionary philanthropist. The word visionary is used quite loosely these days. Almost every second person is referred to as a visionary leader, a visionary manager, and this and that. But in the true sense of the word, I don't think there is any other industrialist or any other businessman or any other philanthropist who can be called a true visionary like Mr. J.N. Tata. So this is in brief his journey. He entered into the textile industry in 1869, and then actually completely transformed the sector. Some of the work that he has done in the sector, right from bringing in the latest machinery into India, producing really high quality textiles, and more importantly, various welfare initiatives for his employees. Uh, it's just unbelievable. There is enough literature available on the internet, uh, and if you are really interested in knowing how he transformed the Indian textile sector back in 1870s, those accounts are a must read. And then from about say 1880 to his death in 1904, so for around say last 20-25 years of his life, J.N. Tata was consumed by what were the three great ideas of his life. The first was setting up an iron and steel company in India. Now, this dream or this vision eventually materialized after his death. So, Tata Steel began operations in 1912. The second was generating hydroelectric power. And this dream or this vision also materialized after his death. So, Tata Power uh, was born in, I think, 1908 or something. Uh, and then creating a world-class educational institution that would tutor Indians in the sciences. So this was his third mission or vision in the late years of his life, and again this also materialized about 5 years after his death, when the Indian Institute of Science was established. And this is a very interesting slide, right? So when JN Tata announced in I think around 1895 or early 1900s that he was going to set up a steel plant in India, there was widespread criticism and ridicule. Remember in 1900, early 1900, India was under British rule. India was not even a sovereign nation at that point of time. Indians were widely regarded as lowly educated people who do not have enough intellect, or people who do not really have the basics of business, or they are not enterprising, that those sort of things. And remember, steel in 1900s is was equivalent to what computer chips are today. Right? So when you talk about global chip making giants like Nvidia being at the forefront of innovation, and chip making is considered high tech, rightly so today. Steel was what chip making was, back in 1900. So in those days, in a country like India, which was not even a sovereign nation, just a British colony, very poor country, lack of resources, lack of skilled manpower, to even think about building a steel plant in India was nothing short of a miracle. And this idea or his vision was met with ridicule by Sir Frederick Upcott, who was the chief commissioner of the Great Indian Peninsular Railway. And this is what he said when he heard about JN Tata's plans to set up a steel plant in India and make steel. These are his words, and they are documented. There is a documentary evidence to say that he actually made these comments. Right? So, do you mean to say that Tata's proposed to make steel rails to British specifications? Why? I will undertake to eat every pound of steel rail they succeed in making. The idea was that Tatas would never be able to make the quality steel as per British specifications. The idea was that the steel that they make would be so low quality and so low in strength that a human could probably eat those steel ingots. So this was the prevailing attitude, or the prevailing ridicule which JN Tata attracted when he talked about making a steel plant in India. And this is what the eventual outcome. In 1912, the first ingot of steel rolls out of the Sakchi plant. Sakchi was later renamed as Jamshedpur, I think. So very interesting slide, very interesting anecdote. So this is what it comes down to. People ridiculing you, people doubting your caliber, and ultimately, uh, when you actually deliver on what you are promising, that's when this gentleman, if I could call him that, probably had to eat his words, instead of the steel rail that he was claiming to eat. So today, Tata Group is a value-driven organization, and these values are ingrained from JN Tata's life and philosophy towards business: integrity, responsibility, excellence, pioneering, unity. You can pause this slide at this point of time and read the descriptions. But remember that the group even today, or all group companies, operate on these values and the mission which is established by the late JN Tata. So, what can mutual fund investors or retail investors in general learn from JN Tata? The first is that great fortunes begin with small steps. Remember, the 300 billion market cap that you see today started with a 21,000 investment in 1868. So you don't need to wait, till the stars align. You don't really need to invest a lot. You can start your SIP from as little as rupees 500. And today I think some schemes allow a SIP, which is as little as 250 also. The second point is that long-term orientation, and this has been repeatedly said on this channel by me and a lot of other mutual fund advisors on various platforms, that you need to have a long-term orientation when you are investing in equity. I have created a video on why long-term orientation is important to mutual fund investors. If you have not watched it, I suggest you watch it. Uh, the third point is that you need to invest in good companies. Right? So only quality businesses run transparently and ethically by competent management will generate wealth over a long horizon. So this is, in short, what is value investing is all about. I have also created a video on value investing. If you have not seen that video, I would strongly suggest watching that video. That was a video on the value fund category. You can read that. And finally, another important aspect is that associate with the right people and listen to them. See, I have read a lot about this great and visionary businessman philanthropist. And if I were to tell you everything that I have read about him and his life and his work, this video could probably go on for more than 2 hours. But we don't have that kind of time. So one constant theme which reflects in his entire life and his entire work is that JN Tata actively sought out to associate with the right people, and then he listened to them. And this is not as easy as it sounds. Remember, JN Tata in his later years was one of the richest persons in India. He had all the modern facilities and comforts of that day. If he wanted, he could have just placed an ad in a newspaper, or sent a few telegrams to a few people, and probably got good people come to him. But instead, he actually went out and found the right people. So when he was thinking of setting up a steel plant, he visited the United States in 1902. Imagine, in 1902, somebody from India is traveling to the United States because he wants to find the right people who would help him in setting up a steel plant in India. This is one of the richest persons in India. He could have just probably sent a few telegrams to UK, US, or Europe, and or placed ads in the local newspapers in those countries and asked people to send their CVs or resumes to him. But instead, he actually traveled to United States, and he toured all over the US. I think he visited something like 12 to 15 US states, which were industrialized in those times, to find industry experts. And finally, he found the two people who were the foremost experts when it comes to metallurgy and steel making back in those days. So, Julian Kennedy and CM Weld. And he actually convinced them to visit India to assist him in setting up a steel plant. Another, his friend circle or mentors include, Swami Vivekananda, Lord Ray, who influenced him to establish the Indian Institute of Science, and Firoz Shah Mehta. So basically, Firoz Shah Mehta's thoughts on politics, society, and the city of Bombay, as it was called back then, now it is Mumbai. Uh, these discussions and his various meetings and conversations with great minds like these appear to have influenced Jamsetji's thinking about his beloved country and city. So in summary, invest in good companies with a strong corporate governance and a track record of quality. This is absolutely non-negotiable. If you want to succeed in the stock market over a long period of time, quality is non-negotiable. You have to invest in good companies who have a strong and transparent corporate governance policies and a track record of quality. Another important point, back promoters who are ethical, transparent, and fair in dealing with their stakeholders. This is another important criteria, and I think we kind of briefly touched upon this in the value investing philosophy video which I have done. If you have not watched that video, I suggest you go and watch it. So never back promoters, okay, who have a history of bad corporate governance. There are multiple ways in which promoters can indulge in unfair or illegal behavior, and they can get away with that. Uh, so things such as fund diversion, misrepresentation. Misrepresentation means basically means lying on record, especially to investors. Unfair treatment of minority shareholders, etc. These kind of uh, uh, events, or people who have displayed these kind of traits in the past, these are not the promoters that you should back. And this is particularly important for people who are investing in direct equity, right? If you are investing through mutual funds, the fund manager typically does this kind of scrutiny. or the fund manager is expected to do this kind of scrutiny. uh, but remember, if you are investing your hard earned money, in the stock market, whether it is through mutual funds or through equity, it should encourage good behavior. It should never encourage bad behavior. And you will be surprised even today, with all the monitoring by SEBI, and in this day and age of digital channels, where the news is 24 cross 7, there are still promoters, there are still companies which are indulging in this kind of crooked practices. They come to light every now and then, and they keep coming to light every now and then. And this is true not just in India, but almost everywhere in the world. So if you are investing your money, you need to do at least a basic check whether the promoters are of a good corporate character or not. Third most important point is that associate with only the right people in your investment journey. See, the world of investments, especially if you are a new investor, is riddled with people with bad intentions. They might try to kind of benefit from your ignorance, by either forcing you to invest in some bad companies, uh, or giving you the wrong investment advice. So you need to associate with only the right people, advisors, brokers, peers. So the people that you associate with other investors that you associate with, they also need to be of a good temperament. Do not join the wrong social media groups, right? So it, oftentimes the scams which come to light are is that somebody automatically adds you to a WhatsApp group which says that investment tips, and suddenly you start getting investment tips. This stock is going to double in a few weeks, this stock is going to triple in a few weeks, and then you start investing in those stocks, and eventually you lose money, because these are all bad companies. They are called operator stocks. Most of these hot tips and all the groups which operate like this, they are operator stocks. These are companies which with non-existent businesses or very bad financials, and they are just being run for the benefit of a few uh, uh, bad people, and you end up falling prey to them. So avoid these things. Finally, wealth is generated only over a long term horizon. So you need to back quality companies and have patience. Once you are convinced that a particular company is good, it is a quality company, good financials, run by competent management and backed by promoters who are ethical, transparent, and fair in their dealing with their stakeholders, you need to have patience, right? So don't really give up on a company just because there is some short-term turbulence in their share price. And this is also true for mutual fund schemes. If you have done your homework and if you're convinced that a particular mutual fund scheme is good for your risk profile, if the investment framework suits your own risk profile, then invest money in that scheme and have patience, right? It will deliver over a long period. There could be short-term turbulences. You might see some negative returns in your portfolio, but do not give up on that scheme if you have done your homework. So these are a couple of must-read books if you want to know more about the life and work of the late JN Tata, and the other Tata family members who uh, led the group through various phases later on. Uh, very, very informative and very, very good books to read. Finally, if you are planning your mutual fund investments, you can contact me. I am a certified and registered mutual fund distributor and advisor, and I will definitely help you find the right schemes which suit your investment horizon, risk profile, and investment goals. On the right hand side, you will see a QR code. You can scan the code using your mobile phone and download the Funds Bazaar app and start investing in mutual fund schemes there. If you're not comfortable with the app, you can click on the link given in the description of this video and you can start investing. This is my WhatsApp number 9757309269. If you have any queries regarding mutual fund investments, you can contact me on this WhatsApp number and I will guide you to the best of my ability. Thank you for watching this video and do subscribe to the channel to watch the future interesting videos.